growing up, I wanted to be one of three things: a professional wrestler, a Pokemon trainer, or a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Obviously, only one of those things were real. So I decided to go with being a professional wrestler. It's literally my entire life, all I've ever wanted to do. It's my first memory in life. It's kind of just been my driving force for everything, you know? So I decided to do it when I was about 16 or 17. I was backyard wrestling with my buddies. You know, we were on like twin mattresses or something like that. You know, just having fun, destroying each other's body for the future. You know how it goes. And we used to record our videos, and basically what happened was that we were approached by someone who was actually a wrestler. And basically he said, you know, Joe, I love, you know, you got so much potential. Would you like to wrestle in an actual ring? The answer was, duh, right? So I decided to do that, and it was pretty cool. And we got to this point that they wanted to keep burrowing into my head that this was a hobby. This was something that we do on the weekends to hang out, and one day we're gonna all stop because we're too old to do it, and we'll have something fun to talk about. That's not really what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to do, and I was gonna make it happen, come hell or high water. So what I decided to do was, probably after like a year or so of doing that, I decided to pursue the higher levels of wrestling. So there's three tiers to wrestling, I guess you could say. There's the backyard wrestling that you do when you're a child, or an adult, I don't judge. Then you have the higher tier that's indie wrestling that I wanted to do and what I do to this day. And then you have the upper tier, which would be your WWE and things of the sort. So I start training for indie wrestling, and it costs money, a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time. And I did it because I wanted to do it, because I just knew that indie wrestling was just going to be it, you know? It's my dream. It's what I've been wanting to do. I'm 19 at the time, so I'm ready, and I'm expecting it to be this big, amazing, glamorous, elaborate thing, and it wasn't. It was not at all. It was bad. But it's okay though, you know, because it's still what I wanted to do. The thing with indie wrestling is that we put so much time on the road. Let's put it this way. I have a car outside, a little blue Focus. It's really small. So I got it last year. It's about 17,000 miles. Literally a year ago, last week, I'm at 44,000 miles. Just from traveling the country. So I travel a lot. And pretty much anywhere you can fit a 20-foot by 20-foot wrestling ring, I've wrestled there. I've wrestled in gyms, I've wrestled in armories, I've wrestled in backyards for birthday parties, I've wrestled in firehouses, I've wrestled in barns. The struggle is real, right? And it's the kind of thing that, but yet, here I am still doing it. Why? It's the type of thing that you gotta have that type of drive to do, you know? I beat myself up for what I do I'm wearing a cast right now, right? But it's okay, because when I'm out there and I'm in front of a crowd, kind of like you guys, you know, beautiful faces, it's so exhilarating. It's amazing, you know? So basically, I got to start, I was starting when I was around 19, and I got my chance to actually start. You know, I wanted to do this amazing gimmick that I can just be myself. And basically, when you're starting out, no one trusts you, so that's not going to happen. So what they decided to do was they gave me this gimmick. His name was Terror Khan. Now, Terror Khan was not what you would say a normal person. The character was an African wild person. He didn't speak English. He wore face war paint all over his face, all over his stomach. He had the Tarzan tarp going, no shoes, and I hated it. Like, I hated it. It was really bad. But I did it because I loved it, right? That's what you do when you love things. You want to keep going, and you just hope for change, right? So Terror Khan was this thing where you would consider, you would call him enhancement talent in wrestling. Basically what enhancement talent is that I was never the guy. I was never the champion. I was never, I was the guy that made sure that the next guy was ready to be champion. Kind of not what you wanted to get into wrestling for, but I fell into it and I did it well. I did it for about 5 years. I wasn't too happy with my situation. I was banged up, my knees are banged up, my feet are horrible, and I felt like if I was going to do this and I was going to beat myself up, I was going to do it for a reason. So because of circumstances for my actual job, because unfortunately at that time it actually was a hobby, whatever. So I ended up moving to Alabama. I moved to Alabama, and it was different, to say the least, right? Right? So I moved to Alabama for work, and I decided that I wanted to find some wrestling out there, because there's wrestling in every single state. Like, it's everywhere. So I shipped my stuff out, and I decided that I wanted to reevaluate and reassess what I do. And I wanted to give something a little differently than what TerraCon represented, right? So I sent them my con stuff, and I told them with it, I said, I know that you like this, and that's awesome, but I have something a little bit more that I can give you. I have this character that I did when I was in the backyard. Don't run away when I said backyard. But I wanted to be able to do so much more. This character that I did, his name was Cassidy Kane. He was everything that TerraCon wasn't. But first, he spoke English. What? You don't understand how hard it is to act like you don't speak English until you have to do it. So, it was not fun. But it's okay, because they gave me the chance and they said, you know what? Go ahead, we'll give you one shot, and if it doesn't work, go throw on that paint. Cool. So, 3 months later, not only did it worked really well. And I got to the point where I was one of the top bad guys in all of Alabama. Not that hard. So, I got the call from the promoter, and he told me, Joe, we're ready. We're going to pull the trigger on you. We want you to be our world champion. Side note, wrestling's fake, guys. So I got the call, and I was told that that's what's going to happen, and I was pretty excited about it. I wanted to make it this epic story of just, good versus evil, with evil having to come out on top by cheating, and it was going to be awesome and epic, and it wasn't. It wasn't. It was really bad. It's actually on YouTube, and I actually don't want to tell anybody about it. But it's not really what matters at that point. What matters is when the match was over, and they put that title in my hand, and I raised it up, and I knew that I was going to start crying, right? Because that's what you do when you win things, you cry. But I was the bad guy, right? So I can't cry. You got kids crying because you won. So I had to play my character until I got to the back, and then I cried like a baby. So the thing about it was, in my head, there's this kid from Detroit who they told, this is just a hobby, right? And here I was on the other side of the country doing it.